What's up everyone, SKULM here, and in today's video we're going to dive into Necromancer Season 7 patch notes. As always, I am going to try my best to keep this video brief and precise. Let us begin. So in this video we will cover 5 builds: Bone Spirit, Blood Spear, Blood Wave, and then 2 Dark Horse builds. These are going to be very fun builds, and I believe these are going to be very strong builds in Season 7. I will test them all in Season 7 PTR, and I will be live streaming my PTR gameplay. Just a quick heads up, in the bug fixes section, you can see that Blizzard has added a Necromancer bug fix. It says, fixed an issue where the free cast from Blood Artisan's cuirass scaled off both current and maximum life. Now, I'm not gonna brag, I'm not gonna go into detail. Me and King Pig have provided a lot of mathematical data and said that Blood Artisan's cuirass, the Bone Spirit spawn from it, are doing way more damage than they're supposed to be doing. This is another debate, but I'm not gonna again brag or go into this discussion. I'm just gonna say Blood Artisan's cuirass bug, one of the bugs, has been fixed, and this is going to negatively impact it. So Blood Spirit or Spirit Wave is gonna take a big hit. Just be prepared for it. That's all, no flexing. Let's start with Bone Spirit. Bone Spirit has seen some indirect buffs because lots of overpower and base buffs have been added into the game, such as Soul Rift now has 75% max damage bonus. Bone Prison additionally helps with 15% increased damage taken. Coalesced Blood, which used to be a passive skill for Blood, now actually provides general DPS, so damage while healthy, which applies to everything. So it used to be exclusive for Blood skills, now it's everything. Then Ratma's key passive, 120x overpower damage, somehow applies to the Bone Spirit overpowers. Now, of course, this key passive is going to compete against the Ossified Essence key passive, but especially if your essence is not above 270, mathematically speaking, Ratma's passive might be actually better for you. So I'm gonna have a look at that, but in general, 45%, 15%, and then 18% should be 78%. Yeah, 78% damage increase. So Ossified versus Ratma, it really depends on your max essence. I will calculate that later. In addition, we have the Bloodbath Paragon Overpower buff. It went up from 70% to 100% overpower damage now. However, there is a big DPS loss on Bone Spirit. It is going to receive a nerf because Blood Moon Breaches, our pants, have seen a rework. They have completely changed this item for some reason, and this is a Summoner Necro item now with ranks to Golem Mastery and Hellbent Commander and crit chance. Now, I will talk about this on one of the Dark Horse builds I will cover in this video later, but this is a Summon Necro item now, and Bone Spirit is going to lose 150x overpower damage. This change feels really weird because Blood Moon Breaches, it has some interesting affixes such as crit chance, etc. It's still going to be a DPS loss for Bone Spirit, but like I'm trying to understand why they made such a change. This will definitely affect Bone Spirit negatively. On the other hand, it has received some indirect buffs, but overall, I don't see a dramatic increase in Bone Spirit's performance, to be honest with you. Now, I'm really excited about the next build that I'm gonna cover. I am trying my best to remain calm. Blood Spear. This is Bone Spear Reborn. I am also trying to not to get my hopes up, but I can't help it. Bone Spear might be making a huge comeback. with the form of Blood Spear, because it is receiving some massive buffs and gets empowered with a brand new unique item named Indra's Memory. These are leg items, but before we begin, let's look at some impactful buffs Blood Spear is receiving. Now, Bone Spear base damage is buffed from 85% 100%. Keep in mind that the other boost from skills will also apply to this. So, Supernatural Bone Spear upgrade has been reworked. Bone Spear makes the first enemy hit vulnerable for 3 seconds, and then it deals 30% increased overpowered damage. Bone Prison will add 15% increased damage buff, and of course, Deathless Visage has the potential to become a meta best in slot hell, because the unique effect of Deathless Visage provides 50% critical strike damage increase, and the additional Bone Spear skill effects on the helm just adds this on top. So you can consider this like Shaco and Air of Perdition's Super Baby, because it adds the skill ranks to Bone Spear while also providing a unique damage buff, which is 50% critical strike damage. In addition, Lidless Spear is kinda looking exciting, but I believe the latest Soul Rift buff, which makes it go up to 75% max damage, is going to be the meta pick here. However, Lidless might see some play. I have to test it as well on PTR. But overall, there is something else I need to talk about. The new Bloodbath Legendary Paragon node will massively buff Blood Spear, because Bone Spear, with this unique item called Indra's Memory, will also gain the blood tag. So Bloodbath provides 100% overpower damage, 100x overpower damage, and then it increases your blood skill damage as well. Now, anything that increases blood skill damage should also increase blood spear damage. I'm also going to test this on PTR, make sure it works. It should work, hopefully, but yeah. Indra's Memory item says it makes Bone Spear a blood skill, so anything that provides blood skill damage should pump out the Bone Spear. Okay? Blood Spear, there is another thing I need to mention about Blood Spear. I think the most crucial mechanic will be to consistently making Blood Spears overpower. While Ratma's Vigor will be a prime candidate for that, I think the key passive we're gonna play is gonna be Ratma's Vigor because of 120x overpower and the guaranteed overpowers, and then we will going to collect Blood Orbs because we're gonna use Blood Wave as our ultimate. I'm gonna also show you my planner for this one. I have also the planner links, they will be linked in the video. I'm also starting to create these planners. I will optimize them when I have my PTR data. Anyway, while Ratma's Vigor will be a prime candidate for that, I'm also looking at a Banished Lord's Talisman variant as well. So Blood Spear is looking strong, and it has a big potential to become an S tier meta spec for Season 7 Necromancer. Trying not to get my hopes up. Now, if things don't work out, we have Blood Wave. Okay, Blood Wave, this is the third build I'm covering in this video right now. Blood Wave quickly risen through the ranks in Season 6, and now it will become a dominant spec in Season 7. There is no discussion about that. With all the buffs and the new legendary uniques, Blood Wave has a huge potential to become a meta spec for Season 7 Necromancer. So we're going to see a competition between Blood Spear and Blood Wave. Okay. Again, Bone Spirit, the loss of Blood Moon Breaches is going to hurt Bone Spirit, and we have Blood Spear and Blood Wave coming up. So these three will have a fight for the throne this season. Some notable buffs to Blood Wave. Okay. We are, of course, seeing the tidal aspect. The damage buff of the tidal aspect is definitely there. However, the negative property of this aspect makes me uncomfortable. Okay, I'm gonna come to that. Anything I have mentioned about overpowers, Ratma's Vigor 120x, Coalesce Bloods, all the Paragon changes, and all the items I have mentioned, including the Blood Waves unique item, are going to massively add damage to Blood Wave. This is going to be massive, and I think this build is going to be extremely strong. I am going to show you some of the changes that Blood Wave is receiving and some of the big buffs Blood Wave is receiving right now. They should be on the screen. So while I'm showing you those, I want to talk about the tidal aspect and why I think the negative property of this aspect should be removed. Because this build has a huge potential, but I think it should be spammable. Because tidal aspect, yes, it actually increases the damage of the Blood Wave, deals more damage now, but the fact that you cannot cast a new wave and have to wait until the end of the additional wave cast will be annoying, because I might get a lot of cooldown reduction because there are new aspects that we can combine with Blood Wave. So there is a world where we will have so much cooldown reduction with Fast Blood aspect on top that I will test this, but maybe we may drop Tidal aspect just because of that negative property. Maybe by spamming Blood Wave we might do more DPS. If this is the case, then this is going to be a very stupid and bad design. So I encourage Blizzard to remove the negative aspect, the negative property of Tidal aspect. I am going to test this out. I am going to test the DPS with Tidal aspect and test the DPS without the Tidal aspect. So second version will be more spammable and spammy version. I will definitely test this on PTR and hopefully I will provide my feedback to Blizzard. But you know, let us spam this shit and get Giga Pit clears with it. It's super fun. Again, this build will be very strong in Season 7 and will compete against Blood Spear to become the best Necro Season 7 spec. Now, let's talk about the first Dark Horse build. I have two Dark Horse builds now. First one is the Mendeln Summoner. The Mendeln Summoner is going to be more powerful than Season 6 version because, well, first, Blood Moon Breaches will provide a massive damage bonus due to the new Golem Mastery and Hellbent Commander ranks. These are some big damage buffs because Blood Moon Breaches providing ranks to Golem Mastery and then Hellbent Commander on top. Boy, oh boy, that's gonna be some damage because that is also going to affect your Mendeln explosions, remember this. So there is a possibility where we might actually go back to being the Golem Necromancer with the Mendeln, but then we want to proc Mendeln based on the Golem's damage, which kind of doesn't make sense. So I am trying to understand what they are trying to achieve with this. Because right now the Mendeln Summoner is best used with the Iron Golem Sacrifice, and then using the skeletons, and then basically as many skeletons you have, more explosions around the skeletons will occur. However, Blood Moon Breaches is providing ranks to Golem Mastery and Hellbent Commander at the same time. Now, just for the Hellbent Commander, I would still use this, but you know, Skeletal Mage Mastery and all that other passives. So legendary items will compete against this. We will see. There is a critical strike chance and some interesting affixes on this item as well. The increased critical strike damage from this will also scale Mendeln damage on top, because remember, Mendeln is taking our damage and then the summon damage now. So it's working in mysterious waves. I think the Soul Rift Fear property, now Soul Rift can actually fear enemies. They have added this on Season 7. Soul Rift Fear and Amplify Damage synergy will be super easy DPS increase, because now Amplify Damage deals additional damage to enemies that are feared. Okay, so enemies that are cursed are taking increased damage from Amplify Damage, and then cursed and then feared is a second status that also adds damage. So basically With Soul Rift, you can actually additionally fear enemies, which will help your amplify damage deal, provide more buff to your damage DPS. Soul Rift's new DPS ceiling is 75% max damage. It went up from 30 to 75%. That's 45% increase for Mendeln. Coalesced Blood passive, it's 6% damage for 1 rank. You can put 3 ranks. Free 18% damage from Coalesced Blood, because it used to be blood only. Now it's general damage. It applies to everyone. And most importantly, no nerfs to Mendeln. Literally no nerfs. My prediction is we will definitely see higher 110 plus, 115 plus hit clears in Season 7. But I'm still not expecting a tier 130 clear from this build. I think Mendeln Summoner needs way more power, needs buffs, needs some big items, but it's on the right track. Okay, it's getting there, it's on the right track. Now, this is a big surprise. When I read the patch notes, I was really, I felt happy and I felt surprised. The next Dark Horse build is the Blighted Corpse Explosion Shadow Necromancer. It is possible that we witness the return of the Blighted Corpse Explosion Shadow Necro because Wither Paragon cap is raised from 1200 to 2000. That will be a huge damage increase, okay? The damage scaling of Blighted Corpse Explosion with skill ranks might be a huge change. This depends on the application because the wording is a bit vague. So I have to go into PTR and test what exactly this translates into. When I have data from the PTR, I will update this, but this might be huge because Wither cap is going to be at 2000 and then we're going to add this on top. That might actually make this blast, okay? So then on top we have Soul Rift 75% max damage and then Coalesced Blood passive applying on top. I think it is possible with the seasonal powers and everything. We might see tier 110-ish pit clears from this build. I think it still needs a lot of work and buffs for pit 130 plus clears. Maybe some buffs to Black River or Mortocrux, because Mortocrux and Black River are also competing right now for this build. I personally love the Mortocrux, by the way, and I think it's a giga weapon. But anyway, those are everything. Now, for conclusion, I think Season 7 is looking interesting for the Necromancer because it is actually bringing some heavy contenders to take the throne from Bone Spirit. New Blood Spear is looking amazing and I hope they won't nerf it. I predict a dominant performance by Blood Wave and Blood Spear, followed by Bone Spirit. Right now, I personally think Blood Wave is the safest bet for a Necromancer player. It is going to be immortal, it is going to deal massive damage, it is going to blast, it is going to pump, it is going to be fun. Blood Wave. I personally am going to play Blood Wave and Blood Spear and also test Bone Spirit. On PTR, I will test all 5 builds, including the 2 Dark Horse builds, which are Blighted Corpse Explosion and Mendeln Necromancer. I think they will definitely be impactful as well. So I will be testing everything on PTR. And then I will release my Season 7 Best Necromancer Builds prediction video. Subscribe to keep updated and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.